I want you to tell me the very first things that you observe or perceive as you begin to understand where you are and what is happening around you.
I see a tree, just one tree in an empty space.
Mm-hmm.
And the colors of the surroundings look very, very pastel, mostly pink, a little bit of blue, white, and the tree is very tall and slim and long with a little opening at the trunk.
Could you tell me more about that opening?
Feels like something's live, like a portal of some sort.
Mm.
Firstly, it's black, it's hollow, as in there is no end to this hole, and it feels like it's a spiral, like you can enter this space and it will bring you somewhere.
Are you curious about this portal?
Yes, it feels like I can go in it and then it will bring me somewhere else or show me certain things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so if you're curious about it and you want to, you can simply allow your consciousness to enter this portal and allow it to bring you to wherever you need to go.
I'm going through this portal now. It feels like a slide.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, slide, like sliding to the galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of light that I see around me that is moving very fast, like when you're on a train and you are moving very fast through a tunnel and there are lights around and it's just strobing. A lot of stars. It feels very, very nice, like home.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I'm sliding through space and everything that I see, every star, every planet, even the dark states, they all feel familiar to me, like my friends.
Mm-hmm. As you move through the stars and the galaxies, what would you like to explore? What would you like to do?
I feel like I will arrive at a place. I don't know where, but it says it will take me somewhere.
Mm-hmm. You can simply allow it to take you to that place. And you simply arrive at that place easily, effortlessly.
I see a a lot of pointed structures. It doesn't feel like, or it's nothing like we see on Earth. I see flying saucers in the sky, and these pointed structures look like buildings, but they are all quite randomly shaped. It's not coherent. It feels like a whole civilization, very advanced.
Could you describe these structures even more? What do they look like? How big they are?
They are very tall in nature, narrow and tall. There are many edges around one of these structures. It's like random formations of crystals. So these things are actually natural formations.
And so tell me more about the flying saucers in the air.
They are beings from different planet or systems, stars, visiting this place.
So what is their purpose for being here?
It feels like a meeting point for important people within each of the planets or constellations, kind of like the meeting point of the High Council.
The meeting point for the High Council.
Yeah, this whole place in general, not just one of the structure itself. It feels like these buildings are information storage places or things where it's like a database. This whole place is like a database, like a living consciousness of a database.
And what does this database store?
Important information about civilizations, how they have risen and how they have fallen or will fall, and everything that is every golden timeline of that civilization is also stored here.
Every golden timeline of every civilization is stored here.
Yes, or rather, it's a place that the High Council can access the records of all civilizations.
And how are you observing all of this? Are you part of the High Council or?
Yes, I'm part of the High Council.
And could you tell me more about your role and who you are?
It feels like I am one of the gatekeepers of certain records, not all, but some of them.
Could you tell me more about the records that you are keeping?
It's the Atlantean records. It feels like also Lemurian records. Some of the records are also related to the conflict that has happened between civilizations and races of beings. What's referred to often as the Galactic War. But that information it feels a bit complicated, where somehow a lot of the information within that record is actually intentionally being encrypted or basically I myself cannot access all of the information within this specific record of the galactic history. There are also certain records that either I don't have access to or is being wiped clean in order to prevent certain things from happening. That is why I don't have any specific memories about my time in Sirius B. It's not meant for me to remember at this point. There are also records of the human civilization and how beings from other planets have actually assisted in the evolution of the human race. Something about the water. Not just the water on Earth, but just all of the water in our reality is connected and it's conscious, it's a living thing. It's also another kind of database. It holds actually a lot of memories or information of all life, civilizations, wisdom, ever since the beginning of creation.
And with regards to water, is it something that every being is able to access? You know, the information and the database within water.
Yes. The information that water holds basically runs in everyone because we are made up of, or the human body is made up of majority water. the communication between water is actually, in a sense, quantum, but it requires a lot of awareness, just like how certain people can feel certain energies more, are more sensitive. The more we are able to be present and sense the energies around us, the more we can access the information that is within water.
Previously, when Shora was in Bosnia, at the stone spheres, she actually drank some water there. She felt called to. What was that about?
It's to help her remember the memories of that land. It is actually connected to Lemuria. It holds some of the codes of Lemuria, which is part of the mission of the trip in Bosnia, which is to anchor in the New Earth codes or templates of New Earth, which is very directly related to the golden Lemuria.
So does this mean that the entire stone spheres area holds memories of Lemuria? Or it's not specific to that area?
It holds the stone spheres area holds a big aspect. The heart of Lemuria has been activated there, but it's not the only place that has the fragments of the templates of Lemuria. But it plays a important role.
So other than the stone spheres area, what are the other places that also hold fragments of the Lemurian template?
Bali, Switzerland, New Zealand. These are the places that at least it's relevant to Shora, but they are not the only places. There is also somewhere in, I don't know if England and UK is the same place, but around that area, there isn't a specific place that or spot that's coming to awareness, but that area has a lot of Lemurian codes as well.
How about for Bali, Switzerland, and New Zealand? Are there any areas or regions that is important to know of?
Mostly the mountainous areas.
When Shora was in Bosnia, she also felt a really strong connection to the Prenj mountain range. Could you share more about that?
That's not linked to the Lemurian codes, but it is actually relevant because it is directly connected to this place that she has landed on, the database, or the place where the High Council gathers. The frequency of the Dinaric Alps feel similar to that of the meeting point outside of Earth. It is actually also a meeting point for different beings. There is actually a portal that, or multiple portals that allow beings outside of Earth to travel to and hold meetings.
So you mean there are multiple portals along the Dinaric Alps?
Yeah.
And so beings travel through these portals for meetings.
Yeah, they are on the mountain.
On the mountain. I see. Is there anything else that we need to know with regards to the Prenj mountain or the Dinaric Alps?
It is a place that Shora feels a strong calling towards, or a magnetic pull towards this place, because another aspect of her often visits this place for meetings with other beings. So it feels familiar. Her Pleiadian self actually goes to this place often. And it also seems like feelings, other aspect of her is also within the High Council that visits these two places, one that's outside of Earth and the Alps, very often. Being close to this place on Earth will assist them to connect with the database, which will bring forth more important information about their mission together and what they are meant to do together in this lifetime. I sense that it's a very, very important mission.
Okay. Could you tell me more about the mission?
It is to restore the grids on Earth, the places that Shora and Peh Linde will go to in the future and have been to are like master switches on Earth, and these places are connected to the other master switches outside of Earth, and this whole network needs to be restored. There are certain forces that want to disrupt the restoration of the grid, to intentionally disconnect not just humans but also different races of beings with source. And when we are disconnected, that's when we fall into darkness. The cycle of time into the dark age comes. But now we are moving into the remembrance and the light age. It's a cycle of time. We are part of this cycle. We play a role in this cycle. It's eventually going to happen anyway, but we have chosen to play this role to restore the grids.
So far, Shora and Peh Linde have traveled to Egypt and Bosnia together, hosting journeys, bringing people together with them. What are the other places that they will need to travel to restore or to activate the master switches?
This information is not part of Shora's job to know. Rather, Peh Linde will be the one that receives the destinations. So Egypt, Bosnia, Peru is definitely one that Peh Linde has already received.
Mm-hmm.
There is a possibility in Africa, in New Zealand as well, but more will unfold when the time is right.
So other than the journeys that they host together, do they have any other purpose being in each other's lives?
To support each other in their own personal journeys. But more importantly, it's the coming together in the union of their energies that actually creates a different kind of energy. And that this union of their energies is actually very powerful in activating people's hearts. That's why when they journey together and they bring people together at certain spots, it's actually their presence together that activates the grid. And not just that, but also guides others to remember the light that's within them. So they're like technicians turning on the switch for the grid and also within people.
How is Bosnia connected to Egypt?
It is part of the master switches. Not just Bosnia and Egypt, but all of these places that will slowly unfold in the future all communicate with each other, not just on Earth, but also with the places outside of Earth. When one switches on, it actually also affects the other.
And the pyramids in Bosnia and Egypt, what is their role to play?
They are like communication towers.
Mhm.
Not just that, but also a way for beings to be able to identify where the master switch is.
Interesting.
It also acts like when a pilot is flying the plane, they actually rely on landmarks to identify where they are and to identify whether they are in the correct position to land. Without these landmarks, when a plane is flying in the sky, there's no way to have an anchor point or to identify where they are in the sky. So these pyramids are act as landmarks for other beings to know where they are in space. And if they decide to land somewhere, they are able to accurately do so.
And so, how does Bali come into the picture? How is Bali connected to these master switches?
Bali is not part of the master switch, but it's a living consciousness where it's like a database, but not quite so in a way where we have seen and discussed in the previous scenes. Bali's living consciousness it's like a sponge that absorbs the darkness and the light. So it's actually the living consciousness of humanity. It reflects the stage of evolution in which humanity is at. This is on a collective level. On the individual level, individuals who travel to Bali will experience the reality that reflects where they are in their journey. So some people can have beautiful time in Bali, but some people just have the worst time of their lives. Bali amplifies the inner world of an individual and also the collective. So for Shora in particular, at the point where she visited Bali, she was ready to receive, or rather remember this mission. It was the time for her to remember the information from Atlantis and Lemuria in particular that then puts her in a situation or in a path where she will fulfill this role as her higher self in the high council to reactivate the grids and to restore the golden timelines that she is a keeper of. So in essence, there is not quite a single way to explain what Bali is, because it is a reflection of the collective and also the summation of individual journeys and lessons and missions.
Suddenly, I was reminded of the copper bottle that I bought in Bali. I left it at the Stone Spheres area. I'm just wondering if you have any information with regards to that, because I almost never lose anything.
That's because you need to buy another one.
Oh,
And by buying another one, you will meet that someone that you're meant to meet.
okay. Who is that someone? Why do I need to meet that person?
It's a he. He feels very old, but I'm not sure if he's old in this life or his soul just feels very old. He has a beard, and the beard is almost gray and white. It seems like he is a local craftsman in Bosnia, particularly in Mostar, along the Copper Street, not too far away from where Shora bought her copper jewelries. 2 shops down.
That is specific.
On the opposite side.
Has Shora met that person before?
No. But she knows that she will also get something from his shop the next time she will be there.
Okay.
A copper bottle.
Okay. We shall see. Is there anything else that would like to come through for Shora?
There are different ranges of what is so-called destiny in human terms. Some people have more loosely defined points of destiny. They have more free will or ability to change that destiny or to decide how they want their lives to be like. But Shora and Peh Linde's roles are quite different from the normal or majority of the humans who are on Earth now, in a sense where a lot of these destiny points cannot be changed because they relate to the time cycles. They relate to a bigger aspect of the evolution of consciousness. And therefore, these things will come anyway. Not that they don't have free will, but that's an illusion anyway. They have free will in the sense of the little day-to-day things in life, what they want to eat, who they want to date, what kind of friends they want, where they want to go. But most of the time, they will feel a certain calling, or they will just know that there are just certain things that has to be done. And they will do it eventually. Or eventually it will happen because it's part of the bigger picture.
Mm-hmm.
So just enjoy your lives. Everything will pan out according to how it needs to. both of you will be supported, you'll be held, provided for, cared for, because you're very important to the bigger mission at hand.
Mhm.
The both of you will, and have many other places to travel to, whether it's for the journeys or just the both of you. This is only the beginning. There are a lot more exciting times ahead where the both of you will meet more of the people within the council that will, each of you will activate each other's remembrance.
Are there any others within the council that they have met?
Yes, absolutely. Yasmin is one of them.
Okay.
The guy that you'll meet at the copper shop is another one. Apparently Gina. Lisa is an interesting one.
Also,
She Lisa is actually reptilian in nature, like fully reptilian. But the ascended reptilian, the few within the race that actually wants to help the entire reptilian race to remember the light within them. That's why she is interesting, because most people wouldn't regard a reptilian as a good being. But she actually plays a very important role within her own race and within the High Council. Most of the beings within the High Council are from eighth dimension and above. The reptilian collective is not. It's actually the third dimension and below. But for her, she is actually beyond 8D. That's why she is an interesting one.
that's really interesting. And is there anything else that would be useful for us to know?
Both of you actually work a lot in your sleep. You're not technically sleeping, actually. You are somewhere else doing a lot of things. And so it'll be good if you can sleep more, because it's actually much more efficient.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah. And when you need to be awake, you will be awake doing the things that you need to do in this realm.
Mm-hmm.
Most importantly is presence, because there are actually a lot of things that are communicating with us. If we are not present enough, then we might not be able to catch the subtle messages that are coming through from the most random things around us.
Mm-hmm.
That, but also don't think too much.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, everything that you need to know, you need to do, everywhere you need to be will eventually unfold and come to your awareness. So yeah, take it easy.
Mm-hmm. So before we end off, I would like you to show Shora a scene in the near future. Maybe sometime 3 to 5 years later. Is it possible to do that?
Yes.
Okay. And so this scene is being unveiled to Shora now.
It's back to this tree.
Mm-hmm.
At first, I see land, like just empty land. And I know that this is on Earth. There's grass, there's some trees. But then right after that, I see the tree again, and it seems like the tree in the beginning, even though that space is not on Earth, actually, it's within her consciousness. But this tree is actually on Earth. The I feel like there's two parts of this tree on Earth, or two trees that are connected to this one tree in my consciousness. One of it is the oak tree on Jay's land, and the other one is the tree that she actually drank the water from at the Stone Sphere Park.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she will be back there.
Okay. Both the trees?
Yes.
What will she be doing there?
She will receive some codes, some templates that will assist her in the land that she will build her sanctuary on. Yeah, that's how these two scenes are connected. And that is connected to the New Earth, anchoring the templates of the New Earth. Because the template of the New Earth is very much the Lemurian templates. And with this awareness now, the next time she's there, it will activate more memories as well as open her up to receive these templates in her field that will then be the foundations of her sanctuary.
Sounds amazing. So before we bring Shora back, I would like to request for any upgrade or any gifts of abilities that are ready to be unlocked or developed to be activated in Shora. I also request the same for myself. Thank you. Welcome
Whoa.
back. We actually just nice ended at like 11:11
Wow.
Bosnia time.
Some more.